Hi, and welcome to CryptoBiography. I'm your host, Brandon Starr. This is episode 443 of CryptoBiography, and it's part 8 of Vampire Republic. And here we go. The set was fairly large, and there were 2 chairs near the middle. Are we supposed to sit there? Vanessa whispered. Where will Edmund sit? Also, I thought this was like an interview. Me too, Duncan said, but then realized that an interview had never really been specified. Edmund had used the word discussion. There weren't other people on the set, but there were some just offset preparing the camera and lights. Someone they took to be a producer came over. Thank you for coming, Duncan and Vanessa, she said. Let's get you to hair and makeup. They were sort of used to this aspect of public appearances by now. They followed the producer backstage and got into hair and makeup. Both wanted very minimal work done, and it didn't take long. The hair and makeup people were not very chatty, which was rare. Afterward, Vanessa mentioned this to Duncan. Yeah, Duncan agreed. Maybe because it's an actual news studio this time? Maybe they have a more serious attitude. This was the first time they had been to a news studio. Though they'd been interviewed by news crews before, it was always over video or at their home. The producer placed them in the 2 chairs. Where are Edmund and the interviewer going to sit? Vanessa asked. In answer, the lights went up, and the live lights above the cameras turned red. Edmund walked from behind the drapery along with several other vampires. Oh, we're so dead, Duncan said. Vanessa just stared. She'd come to the same conclusion. They were totally at the mercy of the vampires. Only the fact that they were live on television might save them. Good evening, everyone, Edmund said to the camera. He was flanked by the other vampires, but they had clearly prepared. All of them were facing the camera. Good evening, Duncan and Vanessa, he continued. I imagine you are feeling nervous right now. I understand why you would feel this way. In times past, this situation would have led to a bloodbath. But not any longer. Edmund snapped his fingers, showing off his long black nails. Vanessa briefly wondered if they were painted or if they were naturally that way due to some fluke from being a vampire. Upon the finger snap, a vampire rolled out a cart with the black sheet over it. So much unnecessary pageantry, Duncan thought, though his worry had not gone away altogether. This is, Edmund cried like a ringmaster, and he signaled the vampire had pushed the cart to remove the sheet, which he did with a whipping sound. Life liquor! There were jars of what could only be blood on the cart, with a sign saying life liquor in a large, readable font. What is this? Duncan asked, a little sharply. He didn't think he was under immediate danger any longer, but he did think he was being used in some way, and he didn't like it. The future, Edmund said. What we have here is vampire food that doesn't require us to harm a human. Our age has finally paid its dividends. Many vampires are wealthy because we are so old. Over the last few decades, we've put a lot of money towards bio-research. Now we have blood which is so identical to human blood that it can serve as our only source of nourishment. Yet it comes from bacteria and can be made in large quantities. Thus, our days of hiding, of needing to live in the shadows, are finally over. He stopped with a large, toothy grin. Duncan and Vanessa simply gaped at him. We're letting you know, here and everywhere, that from now on, no vampire will have to harm humans for sustenance. We hope you welcome us, if not with open arms, then at least with an open mind. Do you have questions? Can we see the factory? Vanessa asked, a little sharply. Duncan suspected she thought this was actual blood from some human victim somewhere. Of course, Edmund said, but not without a brief pause. Right now, we are working to increase production, but there is no reason you cannot see it. I thought you hinted you had enough to support your population, Vanessa said. Why increase? We have enough to feed the vampires we are aware of, and are in the United States, Edmund said, nodding as though he were agreeing with her. But more are being discovered all the time. We're a very secretive lot, and even we did not know all the vampires to be found even locally, let alone nationally or globally. We've been watching your efforts at unmasking us worldwide with considerable interest. And I know that soon we will feed them all, and the age of vampires hiding and being thought of as monsters will be over. And that's the end of the episode for this week. Hope you're enjoying it. If you have any comments or questions about this episode, CryptoBiography@gmail.com, or hit us up on Facebook or Blue Sky. And thanks for listening. Words and music copyright 2025, Brandon Starr, all rights reserved. Characters and events are fictional, fictionalized, or satirical.